Like it already went live. But anyway, welcome to the Brown Spade Podcast Show. Today we have an interesting topic. The topic is, who are you? And I was inspired to talk about this today because the other day I saw, I forget the white guy name, but anyway, he's a financial guru. And he was asking the black woman what to call her. And she didn't like the name African American. She said she preferred to be called black. So they asked the other guy in the room and he said African American. So that's what inspired the topic. So again, this is something that we never really sat down and just talked about as black people. So it's just something I feel we need to discuss, just something to think about. But before we get started, Okay. Once again, I got my brother from another mother, Cleveland, with me. So before I open up the table, Cleve, I just want to talk to the audience real quick. So my question is, I'm asking everybody, all the listeners, all the subscribers, who are you? Who are you? And I'm talking about our melanated people. I'm talking about the people who are brown skinned like myself, all the way up to Cleveland and even lighter. Who are you? How do you identify yourself? Okay, we all know we came from Africa. At least most of us know that. So think about it like this is how I look at it. Our name has changed gradually. When we was captured, we was called Africans because that was the continent that we were on. Okay, and then when we was enslaved, then that name went from slave. So the adjective to the slave is Negroes, which is a Spanish word for black. So that name has constantly changed throughout the centuries. So we've been from African to Negroes to what else we got? Blacks. We've been Afro-American. We've been called colored. And this has been throughout. If you go back and if you got any old history books, or if you was as old as myself or older, then you understand what I'm talking about, how the name constantly went on. Afro-American, black, colored, everything. But from the time you came over here, you was called everything but who you really are and where you came from. And with that being said, we came from different parts of Africa. Most Africans didn't look at each other and call each other black. It was much of a tribal thing than anything. So, but anyway, in 1988, I guess Jesse Jackson came up and coined the term and made it official what we need to call ourselves. I guess he was considered leader at the time to how to identify ourselves. So now I'm about to open up the table. Go ahead, brother. What you got?
So the question is, how do we identify ourselves with each other or with other race of people?
No, just how you. What do you call yourself? Like, how do you consider yourself? Some people don't want to be. Some people don't want to be called black. Some people say Black American. You don't hear the term Afro-American no more. You heard that like in the 70s, Afro-American, and then later that's when, like I said, in 1988. That's when Jesse Jackson coined the term African American. This is what we're going to call ourselves. So did he ask everybody that's what they want to call themselves or whatever? I don't know. But I don't think one person can tell us who to call ourselves. You know, I understand what he was trying to do as far as identity concerned. But
I think I get you. And to me, it would make sense if we in America,
right,
born and raised in America, we are Americans,
mm-hmm.
right? So outside of America, that's where you can, pretty much look at it as, I mean, we still could be considered American, but people will look at you in because I don't think what other race is broken down to in different times they have changed what they identify as.
Right. What other culture done that but us? What other group of people, not culture, what other group of people done that other than the blacks that are that lives in America that comes from descendants of Africans? We the only person whose name constantly changed. So it's crazy because I can recall a time when I first filled out my application for my passport, and I put down African American because, again, I felt I was programmed into, that's what I call myself. That's who I supposed to identify myself as. But I also remember being young when I was in elementary school, the word was Negro. So again, but back to the story. So I'm filling out my application. I think I'm in the Buckhead area somewhere up north Atlanta. Filling out my application, I give it to the lady. She gives it back to me. She said, no, you need to fill out another application. She said, just put American. So when she told me that, I paused and I went home and I thought about it driving the whole time. And I pondered and pondered and pondered on that. I said, you know what? She's right.
She's absolutely right.
Yeah, because
that's why I said I'm American. Like
right. But so when she told me that, this white lady telling me that I'm an American. And so here I am, have accepted the fact I'm making myself, when we call ourselves other than Americans, we kind of exclude ourselves from the experiment of America. However, I get it, as Black people, we've been on the worst side of history when it comes to being on this land. I understand that part. I get it. But our nationality is where you're born. Okay? It's obvious. You can see this face, and I want to be clear to people who listening to me. It's obvious I'm of African descent. You can see my face. I'm not denying that whatsoever. But just for this conversation, I just want you to think outside of the box if you can. My nationality is American. I am of African descent. I cannot hide that. I'm darker than most, and I embrace it. I embrace it. But I also embrace that my descendants do come from Africa. I embrace that as well. But my nationality is American. And so to me, politicians have done us a disservice throughout the years because, again, they too busy. They help draw out the line even further, if you ask me. Instead of them trying to make us inclusive, they kind of draw the line and kept us on the other side. You know what I'm saying? Even as far as who do we call ourselves? What do we call ourselves as a group? You see what I'm saying, Clay?
Oh yeah, I remember you talked about filling out an application. I remember I filled out an application.
Yeah.
For a loan through a bank, and the lady, I filled it out, and in that part, where you talk about Black, Black American, Hispanic, white, Indian, Native, like it
right.
had, right? So
right.
I looked at it and I thought about it. I said I should put white just to see what she would say. So what I did was I didn't fill it out, and I handed it.
You didn't check the box.
Look. So she went back and looked, and she like, you didn't complete the application. I said, what part I didn't complete? She said right here. She said you have to either have to put Black, white, Hispanic, and I was like, well. I said, well, does it matter? She was like, I said, does it matter whether I'm going to get the loan or not?
Hold on, Clay. Hold that thought, Clay.
All right. You fading out a little bit, but I can see.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying to pick up on it, brother. I don't know what's going on, but okay, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. Finish your story.
So I said, well, does it matter if I fill it out? She said, no. I said, will it prevent me from getting a loan? She was like, well, no. I said, so does it matter? She was like, no, it doesn't matter, but it's not complete. I said, so if it doesn't matter, I told her, I said, you mark down what you think I am, right? And so she was like, well, you have to mark down. I said, well, what can I mark to give me the best situation to where I can get this loan?
Right.
I said, because my credit line up. I've been with my job for this amount of time. You know, all the things, the criteria that y'all tell me that I need, it lines up, right? So I said, you mark down what you think I should put down in order for me to get this loan. She said, well, Mr. Akins, you have to mark it down. I said, well, you tell me. I told her, I said, which one should I mark down that'll get me this loan? And she said, I can't tell you what to mark down. You have to put down. I said, you see why this does matter? I said, because if it didn't matter, you would say, well, just check Hispanic, check white, check. I said, because I said, can I put down white? She said, well, Mr. Akins, if that's what you want to put down, I said, will it help me get the loan? Right. And she was like, Mr. Akins, you put down what you feel is, will complete the application. Right. So now she's sitting there looking at me with the look on her face like he's trying to get me to say something that I don't want to say. I don't want to get involved in. So I filled it out. I put what they normally identify me as. Right. And I didn't get the goddamn loan. So I'm like, what does it matter? Because it shouldn't matter. We're Americans. We're Americans. And just to add to the story, we shouldn't, excuse me for eating, I'm hungry. I've been eating great. But just to add to your story, the only box that should be citizen or non-citizen. We still shouldn't be checking colors right now. We should. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say these politicians, we be talking about all this other stuff. We get sidetracked out the sideshow, but stay on point, stay on focus. And today, here we is 2022. Now you want to accommodate people with these other pronouns, want to call themselves this and that. You just bending the rules and just throwing all their agenda in front of. We still trying to work this out as melanated people who live in America. You know what I'm saying? We still talking about checking a box on who we are. Now, it should be American citizen, U.S. citizen, non-citizen. That's what it should be. That's it. Male, female. Male, female. Not all the, but guess what? Now they want to check. Now, if you notice in the box, now they got other things, whatever you want to call yourself. It's like you hurry up and accommodate this small little group of our population. They even got Christian. Yeah. All that. Like all these things do is just separates us and put us constantly put you in divide. It constantly put us in a disadvantage, like you said, when you're going for a loan or whatever. And this is how they keep the tab on control on what to do and what not to do, as far as the powers that be when you need them for money, for whether it's getting a loan for a car, house, business loans, things of that nature. So I understand why it's there, but it shouldn't be there. And that's why I say we're not holding the people that we so-called vote for. Those are the stuff we should be talking about. But you have added boxes for genders, pronouns. You have added boxes for religious-based groups and all that, and it shouldn't even be that. And Daniel, education. They even ask you education. Did you graduate from high school? How many years of college you had? I'm like, all these things is for them to just put you in a category and for them to tell you no.
Right.
Or just for them to tell you no. You go through all that for them to tell you no.
Or if they already forever the powers that be, they may say, okay, we're gonna give out 100 loans. And when you fill out the application, you was 101. We're gonna give out to a black. We only limit them. They ain't not gonna tell you that, but they probably got some calculated system that we know nothing about. Yeah. They say, okay, Cleveland he was 101. So therefore he won't get the loan because we already gave out 100 of them like 6 months ago. You know what I'm saying? It was like a cutoff point. And that's how I feel that's how they do. But anyway, yeah, man, it's crazy. I just think we're so focused on the wrong thing and we so get distracted. That's why I say we're so focused on this gender thing with male and female in American society, man. It's a total distraction from what's really going on and what really counts.
Yeah,
you know?
Man.
Yeah.
It's sad because all of these things just push us.
It makes it more complicated. It makes it more.
It pushes us more and more from even the word minority. I mean, like it's like it just.
Yeah, and that's like an open
every
word.
year they add a word. I put like every 10 to 15 years they add a new word that pushes us more and more. Put us more and more box to where they could say, you know what, we can't do this because this is what it is. This is where you're supposed to be. And if you say, look, I'm not a minority, I'm not this, I'm not that, they're gonna fight you over. They're gonna fight you over. Because they put you in a box and they want you to stay in that box. And if you come out of that box, it's a problem. It's an issue.
So so my thing is, and I know we're just, again, this is just food for thought, just trying to bring some thought to the table, provoke some thought. So I would say, I'm an American of African descent if I'm in a conversation.
Yes.
If I'm talking to somebody who can relate to that. But because depends on who you're talking to, I may use the word African American. But
because a person that comes from Africa that comes to America
is an African American. That's my point. And I'm gonna tell you something else.
They get mad.
I'm gonna tell you something else I read the other day. I read the other day with Elon Musk. And you know, they talking about this big thing about how he just about to do the big takeover with Twitter, right? And I'm reading the comments underneath that, and somebody said he's my favorite African American, and I laughed. I wasn't offended at all, and I said, you know what? And I already was going to do this segment anyway. I said this just add on to what I'm gonna talk about, and I laughed and I said, you know what? He's right. So so again, to the subscribers and listeners, a person that left Africa in modern time and moved to America. So if we're African Americans, then what are they? You see what I'm saying? And Elon Musk, who is of European descent, but born in South Africa, got his visa, got an American visa. Of course, he got a Canadian visa first, and then he came to America and got an American visa. So he got three citizenships. So is he African American? Because he's still living in North America, whether it's Canada or not. He's still, in my eyes, he's an African American.
Yeah, yeah. Because I had it's funny you say that, man. Like I have seen track and field, and I have seen what we would consider a Caucasian running for Africa.
Right.
And, you know, and a person would look and say, wait a minute.
Right.
Is that right?
Is that right?
Running, or I've seen a Caucasian running for Jamaica.
Yeah.
Not running, but in the Olympics as a, you know.
Yeah, a European Jamaican. Right.
Is that right?
And go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say we get caught into these words, man.
And color.
To these words, man.
And color.
Yes. Because it makes me mad because when they first see you, a person first see you, they don't identify you as a human. Because to me, like if I'm in a dark alley,
right,
and I walk up on a person, my mind immediately looks to make sure it's not an animal. Because if it's an animal, I might react totally different.
right.
I need to make sure that's the first thing I would look at. Is this a pit bull or a cat or a raccoon or something? You know what I'm saying? That's my mind.
Right.
And then the second thing is, okay, is it a man or a woman?
Right.
You know, the third or fourth thing might be race. You know what I'm saying? Whether this is a black man or white man. You know what I'm saying? The first thing I'm thinking is this a human?
Right.
That's the first thing, because I can communicate with a human. Hey man, look, don't come up on me close, man. You need help. But if it's an animal, you can't communicate like that.
Right.
But that's the way my mind is programmed.
Yeah, we've been conditioned.
But people are not programmed. A lot of people who don't think at it, they look at it with the first thing in the eye. They look, is that a black man?
Right.
Is he black? Is she black? Not me. The first thing I'm looking to make sure you human, because I can use this. I don't need a weapon. I can use this weapon to kind of talk myself up out of it. Hey, brother, what's going on? Hey, you know what I'm saying? But if you an animal, now I got to do something different.
Right. I got to react totally different, because now it's instant.
I got to pick something up, because there's a possibility that you might be a stray animal. You see what I'm saying? but
so,
that's
but that goes to show you the fabric of America, you know. And so is it our fault? It's really not our fault. It's not our fault at all, because you know we have to think that it's like that because of the fabric. It's like that because, you know, soon as we came out of being enslaved, and we went right into the Jim Crow. So it was still a lot of resistance, a lot of pushback. Instead of them saying, hey man, let's be inclusive, let's share this experience that we call America, you know. And again, I don't want nobody to sit up here like I'm complaining as a victim or anything like that. I'm just talking about where all this concept come from. I'm just sticking to the facts. And those where they stem from. There was a lot of resistance. There was a lot of pushback. You know, there were a lot of it was a lot of government officials, because the race thing started, which is a social construct, but it started in the late 16th century. So we're talking about something close to the 1700s before they even started talking about what race is, because really race really doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. Africans have always, in the north part of Africa, always had a relationship transporting goods, import, export, when it comes to Greece, when it comes to the Romans, even when it came to the Spaniards. And you can look at, if you at the south part of Spain, a lot of Spaniards, they're darker than the people from the north side of Spain. So there was a lot of what you call interracial dating, what we call it in today's society. And they would just say, oh, well, he's from this and he's from that. They didn't go, he's black. I mean, Africans didn't even, when you think about it, Africans didn't identify each other as black. Oh, he's Ethiopian. Yes. Oh, you know, oh, he's from Kemet, what y'all call Egypt. You see what I'm saying? So it's like that. So he's from Sudan. You know, he's from Nigeria. He's Nigerian. I'm Nigerian. Oh, I'm Ghanaian. They're not saying, oh, you black. No, they're talking about where they're from, which is their nationality, which is that's where they were born. Here's another one, Cleve. Now, and I know you witnessed this. You're a well-traveled guy. When we leave our mother country, which is America, they see us as Americans.
That's what when you have to fill out them forms going into another country. That's what they look at. Yeah.
But that's what they see us as. I'm talking about wherever you go, that's what they see. They're not saying, oh, he's a black American. No, he's American. That's what they say. They're not sitting up there going, oh, he's a black American. He's an African American. No.
Yeah, they say he's American.
No, so to me, we've been conditioned, you know, by our leaders. We've been conditioned by the fabric of the country. And I think they both played a significant role in how we identify ourselves, you know. And I think we need to reevaluate those things. Again, I'm not trying to exclude myself from having of African descent. That is obvious. And I love my Africanness. Let me say that. But my nationality is American. My passport says American.
Yes.
You know.
And that's how we should identify as in
right.
America.
Right.
In America. We should be considered
you don't say African American, it says American.
Or a citizen of America.
Right.
That's it. It should
say citizen. Application should say citizen, non-citizen.
That's it.
And then from there, wherever that other is, you need to explain, okay, I got a working visa, or I got a whatever visa. You know what I'm saying? To me, that simplifies things and makes it much easier. But to me, it's also all about control. It's also about controlling opportunity. It controls the narrative. It controls the flow of economic. All of this plays a significant role. And so it's just something that I think we definitely need to look into. You got to excuse the noise, man. I can't use my headphones. I'm just going off of my little Netgear thing. But
and it's sad because even when it comes to the news on them just speaking on different situations, like Thug, they
right.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. That was the term they used in the 90s when they made those.
That was
with laws. We were the super predators. No, that was the Clintons.
Yeah, Clinton. That's what it was. It was.
That was the Clintons. Yeah.
And but those are trigger words to let people know, black, colored, but they just changed the different names. But it's all the same.
Yeah. And it's like everything. It's like we are everything as melanated people in America that's born in America. It's like we're everything but American. But who established this? Who made this? And here we are in 2022, and we still talking as though we're in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at, even when I looked that up with the 1988 thing with Jesse Jackson, I'm like, what was going on in 88? Crack. So while we have, while there's a war on drugs in our community, invading our community, killing a lot of people, taking a lot of moms out the homes, a lot of fathers out the homes, we invaded by crack, and this guy come up with African American. We took it hook, line, and sinker.
If anything, he should have said, we are American. We was born and raised on this soil. And then y'all want to talk about we African American. Well, okay, y'all European Americans.
Right. If you're going to do it like that.
Americans.
Right. And, and that's why, Cleveland, I used to like be very supportive of the, even with the black groups, the whatever, back, when I used to listen to those groups and stuff. And I started realizing, man, too, and I know I'm jumping the subject right here, but I'm going to get back on track. I was like, them cats be talking all that, this African, them cats ain't trying to leave this they're not trying to leave the United States of America. It's a whole bunch of smoke at the end of the day, and we like, ooh, yeah, rah-rah talk, but them jokers are not even thinking about leaving the United States of America. They're not. But that's a whole nother subject for a whole nother day. So, but yeah, man, so I identify myself as an American. When you come outside of your country, state lines, and go into another country, that's what they see you as.
Yeah, they don't think of you as Black
right.
American.
Brazilian, okay, yeah, yeah. And don't get me wrong, you have Cubans. They may call themselves, Afro-Cubans and stuff like that. And even then, I think the closer, when you look at it, in my opinion, I just think it was something somebody pushed this label for them to accept. Even that word Afro-Cuban, I think somebody pushed it. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of And I hope somebody can help me out later on. I mean, but I think that was pushed too because that was going on during that time because everything was big on color on this side of the world at that particular time. I think that's how they adopted that word. But when a Cuban see another Cuban, it's Cuban. You know, you see what I'm saying? I'm living in Dominican Republic right now. It's some people as dark as me. They're not walking around going, I'm African Dominican.
Or Asians that move to America,
right?
And then they have kids that American. I mean, I'm pretty sure when they go back to their land or whatever, it's considered to be you're American. Your kid is American,
right? And I've even seen some shows where Asian people who were born in America, even though they knew the language and they knew about the culture because of their parents or their grandparents, they still got looked and treated as an American. You see where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
So again, and then again, you're a well-traveled man yourself. Black people all around the world,
everywhere.
You have Black Russians. You have Black Canadians. You have Black Germans.
Australians. Like we
right. You have Black Australians. So we have to erase and relearn. What do we call ourselves? In my opinion, I mean, I know I can't speak for the majority of people, but just something to think about. I know I'm not.
And that's something they don't know. We don't understand how strong that is. If we just identify everybody as
right,
like you said, a citizen,
right. And even to the point again, and I love, and you know I love Africa. I really love Africa. I mean, I was going to live that time with my wife, but I mean, we it's obvious. We know the history. We're disconnected from the continent and all that stuff. But even they're not going to look at us as Africans.
Not.
And I'm telling you, they love us. I'm telling you, you may experience something different in America, but when you go over there, it's a different experience. They love us. They embrace us. But again, you don't speak the language. We're disconnected. It's like a baby. We're like babies who've been snatched from the mom when the mom gave birth, and somebody snatched that baby, and 80 years later, or 60 years later, she finally found her mom. That's what I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying? But she's still gonna have a connection. The baby still had a connection with the one who raised them, even though the biological mom is the biological mom, but they don't have any history with that person. They don't have any. It's a disconnect because they don't know each other. They're strangers.
Yeah,
that's how I look at us. I look at us like that when it comes to us being of African descent. I just feel like we're the babies who've been disconnected from having, you know, our native tongue, native language, native culture, native belief system, and all that stuff. But again, but as human beings, we evolve where we're from. You know, we are chameleons. So our ancestors who were from Africa, from Africa, they were Africans. And then once when they had kids on that soil, technically they were American. If they had them in Cuba, technically they became Cuban. If they had them in Dominican Republic, technically they became Dominican. If they had them in Russia, which Russia didn't have any slaves, but I'm just having in Mexico, they became Mexicans. You know, you have Mexican as dark as me, but you know, and people don't even talk about that. They don't be walking around saying, I am African Mexican. And I know there's a lot of people who call themselves conscious people. They try to push this agenda on you.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
Call yourself Afro this. Call yourself Afro that. No, let them be cool with who they are.
But the thing is, if we see how they treat people that are from Africa,
right?
Yeah, right.
So
why would you push that? Why not say no? We Americans,
right?
We Americans.
Yeah, and granted, it's and that's why I love different cultures too. It's obvious again, not running from me being of African descent. I love it when they can still hold on because a lot of those places in Mexico, a lot of them in Cuba, a lot in Haiti. They still hold on to a lot of those values in those West African countries when we wasn't allowed to. I think that's beautiful. I think that's a beautiful thing too.
And Daniel, if you think about it, we don't have to guess where we originated from. Everybody else have to try to guess and figure out. If they don't have that history, they have to guess and figure out. Hey, you know, if you're European, you know, are you from Europe? Are you from you know, Australia? Like they have to actually look and go if they don't have, you know, if they don't have that history information to know where their family is from. Are you from Italy? Are you from Spain? Are you from, you know,
and let me say this also for the record too, because again, a lot of us we don't know history or whatever. And I'm not saying I'm some type of you know historian, but I've read a few books in my time, and we have to understand too. Back in those times, it was all about it was all tribalism. Yeah. And what we don't, another part we don't understand is even what we call today is Europe. They were tribalism as well. They didn't call themselves I'm from Europe. That's something that's another name that brought later on. Romans didn't call themselves European. They called themselves Romans. Greece called themselves, you know, Greeks. You know what I'm saying? That tribe or that state of people versus that state of people, they didn't look at each other as the same. This is all came later. This came in the 1700s when they said, "Oh, we're gonna have to form this thing called race," because they knew what they were doing. They were extracting groups of people, placing them over here, and they needed that. They needed that to help them build infrastructure. They needed that to help build up their numbers because it was the ideology of the people to say, "Okay, well, we're gonna have to do this in order to sustain these group of melanated people. We got to all get on the same account, or they might do the same to us." So now they're doing it out of fear. Now you see what I'm saying? So it's more out of fear than anything, because again, we've had relationships. Africans had a relationship with Indians way before Columbus. Africa had history with Africa ran Spain, south of Spain for 800 years. Mm-hmm. So we've had relationship in European states, what we call today as European states. So we've had relationship with American Indians. We've had these relationships. It's obvious, and evidence shows it. Evidence shows it. But again, it just amazed me how, and that's why people look at history as a boring thing, but at the same time, history does help you understand where we've been and where we are.
Yeah, and also, what we need to do, because it just separates us, man. Like you're saying that group of people who push African this, African that is nothing wrong with it. I love it. Yeah. But at the same time,
they're not as pro-African as they are.
They're not guess here, because to me it puts you like we guess here. We not guess here. Right. This is our country. We built this country.
Right.
This is our country. So stop acting like we guess. No, because you could say you Afro this, Afro that, but can you go back to Africa and set up shop? You can't.
Well, you can, but the thing is, I mean, I hear what you're saying. You're saying that this is our country, which I agree. This is our country. We need to treat it as such.
Yes.
But for us to, that's a whole nother subject too, because we're dealing with economics here. So economics, and we're dealing with systematic part of racism still plays a part. But again, we cannot continue to play victim. I don't want to use because we're black or because they're white. You know what I'm saying? We still got to keep pushing no matter what, because we have to think our ancestors who came on those boats, a lot of those people didn't make it, died on the boat. A lot of them just jumped off the boat and refused to continue to be in shackles. The one that could jump off the boat and just committed suicide because they didn't want to be. They knew that they was going to a place that they didn't want to go. They was like, shit, I'd rather just die. than to go wherever the hell this boat taking us to. You know, so is this our country? Yes, but I'm a firm believer that the world belongs to us.
It does.
You know, borders were made by what we call today as Europeans. We didn't have borders.
Yeah. As long as you had
we had tribes
to get there.
We had tribes. Yeah. We had tribalism, but we didn't have borders where we say, oh, from this, you invading our space, da da da. No, we didn't have that. Now, if you want to live with this tribe, you're gonna have to conform to this tribe. You can't come in here and start shaking stuff up. That ain't gonna happen.
And even when they had war and caught other tribal warriors or whatever, they still, after a certain amount of time, they made them part of their tribe. I mean, that's just the way it was.
In time. You conform in time, even though you were a.
We still. What
they call it? They don't call it slave. They call it yeah. What is the name? But anyway, it'll come to me.
Yeah, I just think we pretty much we are Americans. We all are Americans, and we should not have to explain, you know, who we are, what we are, where we. No, we're Americans.
No, we can't do that.
We Americans. We born and raised here. We built this country.
Right.
You know, and as long as we continue to keep doing the Afro American and Black American or whatever, is gonna always put us in a box.
Yes, we always limit ourselves when we do that. We put out we accept the fact of putting ourselves in the box when we do that.
No, I'm American. Yeah,
it's called something about servitude, believe I was that word I was looking for. Some type of servitude, something.
Okay.
Anyway. Yeah. But that's how it's been. It's just and we also understand that America is the youngest country, you know. She's the youngest country out of all the countries in the world. She's the youngest, and America still is an experience, you know. Now, however,
because I think how we identify ourselves is basically how we identify ourselves is basically saying that we are guests, and in your house, however you make the rules, we got to follow along with it. That's basically how that goes. But no, this is our house, just like this is your house. You know, we helped build this country, and we should be considered Americans.
Right.
You know, we should not be considered as Black Americans or African Americans. No, because they actually think this is our country. Y'all visiting. That's what it sounds like.
But also, Cleve, you have white people who they admire Black people. They love Black people. They just as fucking confused too. They like, I don't know, you know, because they don't want to offend you. For those that like Black people, they don't want to offend you. They don't know what to call you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them know. They so confused. They like,
but why? Why they don't know what to call you? Why? Because if you ask them, if you have a conversation with them, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, my family came from Europe, or my family came from Italy."
Right.
Okay. My ancestors came from Africa, but still, I'm not saying you are Italian
American. Right.
I'm not. Right. I consider you American because this is your homeland. Your family was born and raised here. Right. So guess what? I am an American as well. So to me, that's to me, that's ignorance. For you to sit here and say they don't know, for them to say we don't know what to call you. Call me American because your family, your ancestors was not born and raised.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, but I'm saying, I hear what you're saying, but I'm saying you got some people, some Black people, I'm talking about whether to call you as what they see. They're not blind. They see a melanated person. do you accept the fact of calling yourself black? Do you accept the fact of calling yourself African American?
How about this, Daniel? How about me introduce myself to you? Say, hey, I'm Cleveland.
Right.
Just call me Cleveland. That's my name.
Right.
Why does it matter? Why does it matter?
But when somebody describing you,
came from 600, 700, 800 years, like what difference does it make?
I hear you. I hear you. So, but if a person describing you, so what if there's a white Cleveland and then they have two friends? So they say, well, who are you talking about? Well, no, I'm not talking about the white Cleveland. I'm talking about the what? You fill in the blank. The what? The black Cleve, the brown Cleve, the
Listen, that's why we have last names. Come on, Daniel. Like, listen, Look at me as who I am. Look at me as a man.
Yeah.
But we do that. We separate. We separate.
But it ain't just us. It's our fellow country too.
Yeah.
Our fellow country too. Because again, when they call themselves making us a part of the American experience, after we had to fight like hell and march like hell and protest like hell, there still was a lot of resistance, you know. So we really didn't get the full American experience as others got, and I think that's a fair statement. Yeah, we didn't get that full American experience, and just because we didn't have that full American experience, don't mean we have to call ourselves something different. Mm-hmm. You know,
because if believe me, if it would have been a different boat ride.
Yeah.
You on a boat celebrating and drinking together.
Yeah.
America would be a totally different place. But it'd be a totally different place.
But again, that's true, and that's hypothetical. And again, and we're not mad for anybody, for history, because history happened. It happened. And it's history. It's the past.
We just need to learn.
We're supposed to learn from it.
Yes.
We're supposed to move on. And I'm going to say this. I don't, for the so-called pro-black people, I think a lot of times they dwell into history too. They get so swallowed up into history, they can't go forward. They're too busy pointing fingers instead of putting themselves in actions to put themselves in a better place. Because we do have we made progress? The answer would be yes. We've made progress. We can do more than what our fathers can do in this society. Our fathers could have done more than what our grandfathers could have done during that particular time. So, are we making progress? Yes. Are we where we want to be? No. As a group, no. Again, right now we're getting distracted by some more stuff. So there's some other extra stuff coming down the pipeline, and they put that agenda before this agenda. So
yeah. So as far as who are you? I'm American. Like that. Yeah. That whole situation, like I said, with the bank was an eye opener, and I know she felt like wow.
Was she a sister, or she was what we call a white woman?
She was Caucasian.
Gotcha.
That's why I put it. That's why I put the application back in her hand and said, "Well, you tell me where do I mark in order for me to get this loan?"
That's crazy.
Because everything that y'all said I need to qualify for this loan.
Mm-hmm.
Is there. Crazy. I said, yeah. but I told her, I said nothing on your qualifications said you need to be a certain race.
That's right.
It didn't say that. It just told me
I guarantee you, whoever that lady is. Sorry for interrupting. I guarantee you, she never forgot that day.
No, she didn't. Because I put it like this. It was this how far back it was. Yeah. It was Nations Bank.
Yeah, that's far back. But I'm quite sure she took that one to the dinner table.
This was during my time when I was
yeah.
Listen, remember we was going through the Farrakhan phases.
Right. Right.
During that time. So you already know how I'm coming at it.
Right.
So but I wasn't disrespectful. I just told her, hey, what where do I need to mark in order for me to get this loan? Because I'm American.
Right.
I shouldn't have to put down, and what I said was, when I said, well, can I mark white American? And that's when she had this look on her face like, uh-oh. What is happening? But she looking at me ready, like waiting for me to smile or laugh or I'm just joking. No, I was like, so should I said, so if I put white American, would that be wrong? I said, what should I mark? You tell me what I should mark, or you mark what you think I should mark in order for me to get this loan.
That's right. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So yeah, man. I just had to bring that one to the table today. I was like, I wanted some more people on the panel because I wanted to hear what they got to say. I just want to hear. it.
Yeah. Plus today, it's like
I know today is the holiday.
Everybody, they all at church doing their Easter speech. So
doing the Easter speech and the ball egg hunt and all that good stuff. Yeah. But anyway, I digress on that. For those who y'all chase the Easter egg, more power to you. I used to do it when I was little.
We all did it.
Colored eggs.
We all did it. Had nothing to do with
man.
What they said it had to do with.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, man. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna turn this. We're gonna let it go. Anything you want to say before we leave, brother?
Nah, just I mean, I will say we are great people. You said who are you?
Yeah,
we are great people, and
right.
As long as we continue to keep, it's like they put in more and more boxes for us to check to get us
more distracted.
Yes, in a minute it's gonna be, are you half breed? Or you know what I'm saying? Like I've heard people say half breed. I'm like, what? Like, how can you call a person a half breed?
Right.
Like, wow.
I think again that just goes to show you that, and again, this confusion of how to identify yourself. Again, it just shows us how these are all man-made descriptions, and we have accepted them. We accept black when we're brown.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna tell you something, Daniel.
Like, this is black.
Yes.
And I'm brown.
but let it be a situation where I'm drowning.
Right.
And I need help. Does it matter what color I am?
Right. I tell you, man, being in that fire department, I used to always, we worked when I was in the Buckhead area and worked up there. We had one racist guy, and I know I'm dropping the subject again, but we had one racist guy. He was like, he wouldn't care. His wife was down. He was like, y'all just wait right here. He wasn't trying to let us come in there for nothing. I respected him for that because that is his house, and he could believe what he want to believe. And again, I'm not trying to force somebody to like him.
But you said right in most cases. Listen, Dan, you said his wife.
If it was his life, he wouldn't care what color it was. Y'all come up here and get me. Yeah, somebody come save my life. But that's
my point.
That just goes to show you that this social construct is all mental. It's all mental.
It is.
And until we learn that, everything is a case-by-case basis. You can never say all melanated people are bad or all European people are good. That's not true. That's not true at all. But anyway, I digress, man. I just want to say for the subscribers, thank you for the subscribers we have. Please share this content with somebody. Like, share, subscribe. We hope you like this content. On that note, we out.
Peace.